Welcome to April's Technique class with Michelle Last. I'm showing you one of the cards that we are making at this class, and let's give you a close-up. It's got a nice blue and yellow combo with a nice big spiral die flower on the front. Now the spiral die flower is deep, so if you're going to post this card, I wouldn't recommend you put this flower on the front, but if you are going to give it to someone, I'm sure that you could make a nice little cello bag, or even make your own envelope with the envelope punch board and just measure the depth. So I'm going to show you how to make this card. So inside your pack you have everything you need pre-cut and scored, ready to go. And we have the piece of white cardstock which goes on the front of your card. Now I'll just show you the inside of my card. Very simply, I've just added a very small bit of the grid and a little bit of the squiggle on the inside. It's very plain. So that's going on the front like this. So what you would do is you're going to get your bit of Naturals white cardstock. You're going to get the off the grid stamp, and I would use the smoky slate ink, the grey ink, and I want you to just stamp it randomly on this bit of card, mainly focusing around the outside edges. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get your Summer Starfruit ink pad, and you're going to get a swirl, or the swirl I've used is the one from Everything Eleanor, and I've just caught that in the Summer Starfruit ink. I've just added some detail on to give a background. I've then inked the edges. If you like dark inking, then you could use a basic grey ink. If you like light inking, you could use the smoky slate. But I've just added a bit of grungy effect all the way around the edge with the sponge dauber. Then what you're going to do, so that will be this piece done. So if you wish, you can stick that in place on the front of your card. You have a piece of Summer Starfruit cardstock that's already been die cut for you as an oval. You can ink the edges of that using Summer Starfruit ink if you wish, and that would go here. You have the Apothecary Accents dies. I've actually excuse me, cut a Naturals white piece out for you. Now I will also stamp it for you with this stamp here, because I think it's probably unlikely you own this stamp set. So I will stamp that for you in Summer Starfruit ink. Now I would recommend you use the Stamp-A-Majig, but one of the ladies, Sally, at class today came up with a genius idea. I'll see if I can do it actually, because I watched her do it, I didn't actually do it myself. So rather than get the Stamp-A-Majig and try and position this on here, what she did was she got her stamp and she inked it up. Then she got her accent die, which is the same shape as the stamp, and then she laid it over the top like that, and then she got something that she could press and press down over the top to get the image onto the card. Look at that, worked like a charm. So yeah, thank you for the inspiration, Sally. Then what's going to happen is I've cut you a little oval in pattern paper. I've done that because we just didn't want the heartfelt words or any part of the word showing up, so I've stuck that on there like that. You've then got two of these from the Secret Garden framelits. I've cut those out in pattern paper for you, and they're just going to stick on here like that. If you want to burnish the leaves and make them nice and curly, you can. You've also got plenty of cardstock to cut to do a sentiment and matelaire it. Now, what some of the ladies were finding is they didn't cut close to the edge, and they were finding they didn't hardly see any of the blue oval. So a little tip for that is, if that is the case, once you've done your sentiment on here and you've cut close, but you're not seeing much of this, just trim it in half. And then just pull it out as far as you need either side evenly so that you can see it. So that's just a little tip there. So we get the sending good thoughts your way. I've used the basic grey ink and I've just matte and layered that up, and I've raised it on dimensionals. I don't know if you can see that. I've just got a bit of depth on the dimensionals. And I'm now going to show you how I made the flower. Okay, so what I should be doing is, I've got a glue gun. I'm just turning it on so it's going to get nice and hot. It takes a little while, so I hope that it's working by the time we're ready to go. And I've die cut the spiral flower for you, which looks like this. Just something to think about. You need, I've got a knitting needle, but you need, oh, this will work, anything small, a cocktail stick, a skewer, bottom of a paintbrush, just something small to get you started. And if you want to see the predominantly the yellow pattern, you want to fold in towards the yellow pattern. If you want to see predominantly the blue pattern, you want to fold in towards the blue colour. So I want to see predominantly yellow, so I'm going to get the end of my paintbrush and I'm just going to get the tip and start turning it like this. Okay, and once I've got it going, I'm just going to keep rolling it in my fingers, and I'm going to try and keep it lined up roughly with the base. So if I keep my finger on the bottom and just keep turning it, I can do it quite quickly like this. Keep turn, 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 turn. This is patterned paper and it's very, very thin. If you're using thicker cardstock, I'd recommend you burnish the cardstock first to break down the fibres. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. I'm just rolling, and I'm nearly at the end. And actually, can you see if I keep rolling, I end up with just one little circle that's left. This is what you would cover in glue. And then what happens is, you let go of your flower, it's created that nice flower effect, and then that would stick on that circle, okay? Now, one of the ladies at class today said, so how do you get your petals to turn out? How, what point do you do that? And I said, what I do is I turn it over, get my hand on it, and I squish it down, and then I'll get my petals of my flower turning over. I can force it and play with it. Now, I don't think my glue gun's going to be hot. No, it's not it's working, but it just takes a little while to heat up. So what I'm going to do for speed, and it's not going to be a great little demonstration, I prefer to let my flower go for a little while, because I find if they're too tight they just stand up really tight, like that. So what you want to do is open up as much as you want it to be. The wider it is open, the more flat it will lay on your card, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, just to finish it off, is I'm going to add glue to the circle. Whoa, that's quite a liberal spread of glue there. I'm going to add glue, and then I'm going to turn it and turn it and turn it until I'm going to have to hold this in place. Now, the hot glue gun isn't as forgiving and it doesn't give you very long. So if I want to, I could sit that on there like that and just let the glue dry, okay? And then once it's dry, we'll end up with our flower, which I can then stick onto the front of my card. So with a few little rhinestones, just stack strategically on the front of your card, and you could even stick one on the inside, your card will be done. And the last thing I did was get a little one of the large rhinestones and stuck it in the centre of the flower, just to add a bit of sparkle. So that's pretty much it. Quite a nice simple card. I hope you've enjoyed making the cards. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye bye.